Hi, this is Sunil Thawani here. Uh, can you just confirm if people can hear me?
I think we can hear you just fine. Thank you.
Super. Okay, great. So, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever we are in the world. Thank you so much, Doug and Shilpa, for the opportunity to share a case study, a real life case study I did along with my colleague on improving the lives of children who don't have parental care. And while doing that, I had opportunity to apply the quality principles in social sector. You see, I've been in quality management field for about 25, 28 years. And last 15, 20 years have been focused a lot on supporting the corporate, private sector or the government organizations. I'm sure most of you are working for corporate world or private sector, helping them improve efficiencies, productivity, profitability, reducing defects and all that. So it was in 2009, 2010, my life took a little turn towards applying quality tools and techniques in the social sector. I started working for Abu Dhabi Digital Authority. There was a government of Abu Dhabi with a mandate to automate services. Government services, G2C, government to citizen, government to business, government to government. And that brought me to attend conferences organized by United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, UNDESA, headquartered in New York. And then when I started attending, and these events are attended by 1,000 people from some 150 countries. You'll have ministers, prime ministers, government officers, academicians, NGOs, university scholars attending that. When I did that, I realized a lot of people were not aware of the power and the tools and techniques of quality management. I said, hey, these people are trying to improve the world, improving the vulnerable segments of the society. Let me dig deeper into that. And in the last 10 years, I have been working quite a lot into this domain. And then around 2015, United Nations rolled out Sustainable Development Goals. It is one of the most comprehensive framework for people and planet. So that's what inspired me. And last year, I had opportunity to do a very interesting project, which really touched my heart about improving the lives of children without parental care. So I just want to share with you this experience and what I really learned about it and what we really did about doing that. You see, every child, wherever he or she is born, under whatever conditions, deserve a dignified life, deserve development, deserve safety, deserve development, protection from abuse and harm and so on and so forth. So here was an organization which was taking care of the children who do not have parental care. Imagine a little child, even 3 months old, 2 months old, or even 1 year old, due to some reason, doesn't have parental care. Maybe the parents died, or they are, in jail due to some wrong things they did, or they separated, or they left the child out in the cold, and they ran away, or due to any other reasons. So here is an organization in Middle East, and the chief executive was very, very compassionate, human person. The day he took our office last year in March, he said, I had opportunity to work with him in another government agency. He said, Sunil, I want you to come and meet me. And he says, Sunil, we take care of children right from infancy to independence when they become even adult. Even after becoming adult, if they get into wrong, difficult situation, they can come back and we take care of them. From infancy to independence, and I want to improve this whole organization. I want to improve transparency, governance, service, and so on and so forth. And I want you to work with me. So what we started doing was, how do I align the needs and expectation of the children to the services and align as per the mandate issued by the government for this organization. And then we discovered United Nations has a framework on guidelines for the alternate care for children. So we thought there's a great opportunity. How can we adopt and practice these global best practices for this organization? Lastly, in fact, this is my main purpose of talking to you, sharing my experience with you, is to encourage you, to inspire you, to motivate you. Please look at opportunities where we can start contributing in the social sector, supporting organizations who do not have access to this knowledge. We are champions of change. We are champions of improvement. We are champions of customer experience. We are champions of reliability and consistency. How we can help the vulnerable segments of society, internally displaced people, women being subjected to abuse, or migrants, or homeless, or people don't have food, around that, and give our knowledge, time, and expertise to the organizations who are serving those segments of the society through UN SDGs. Yeah. So what we did was, in this project, in this case study, was naturally we started with the customer needs. And we all know we exist for the customer. Go back to the customer, listen to them, talk to them, understand what do they need, what do they expect. And then we went into mapping the journey. Now, this is not just buying an appliance or opening a bank account, or here the customer journey is running into about 20 years, 25 years. So mapping the customer journey a lot in detail and set these services in line with the expectation of the customers, integrate best practices into policies and procedures. While doing that, we referred some of these standards, quality, risk management, because they didn't have any risk assessment methodology in place. Children can be, left to abuse, even by the company, by a driver who is dropping them to the health center or taking them for some, school, or get some drops for them, vaccination and all that. So we use 31,000 extensively, and of course, business excellence model, EFTM, like you have got a Baldrige framework in the United States. Yeah. Now, as per UNICEF, there are about 2.7 million children live in residential care, and actual figure is much, much more. I had opportunity to share this experience in Serbia, in India, in other parts of the world, and believe me, this is a very widespread problem. And this report has a lot. It will touch our hearts if you look and read through that. Yeah. Now, giving you the context of the case study, let me dive in a little deeper into the subject. This organization was fully supported by the government. It was not run on funds from the donors or sponsors or charity or a private company. It was supported by the government, and it will provide total care. Now, total care, you'll be surprised, right from arranging the identity of the child. Suppose child is found and reported to the police, and then the child doesn't know his or her name. So they will have to arrange the ID of the child, arranging birth certificates, passports, providing housing, care, kind of allocating a mother or a father to the child, and then arrange primary education, secondary, university education, even their hobbies, moral values, ethics, sports, music, hobbies, marriage, housing, everything, arranging employment, total care. From infant to adulthood till they are absorbed and included in the society. And it has nothing to do with the religion or the region, whether I am black or white or Hindu or Christian or wherever I come from, Morocco or Germany. So that is the brief context. So when we went into that, we thought, where are we today? From the Plan Do Check Act, we started with the check. So what we did was we studied the federal laws and the state laws and also the mandate. So we just couldn't find that all the laws have been fully implemented in the letter and spirit. Maybe they were there, but records were not maintained. Then we asked the staff, there's an organization having around 200 children. They're taking care of 200 kids at any given time. And they have about 100 employees. They're taking care of them. And 127. And bulk of them are social workers and caregivers, basically, who are like parents and who take care of the children. If the child wants an iPad, so they will, process the request and arrange the iPad for the baby. Or the baby wants to go to the movie or wants to go to the McDonald's or for a picnic. So bulk of the employees were from social care and child care workers. Then we asked them, do you have the customer journey? They say yes. It was just 6 steps. Receive the child, take care of the child, give education, arrange marriage, and become independent kind of thing. It was not enough. Then service delivery was a lot of variability, inconsistency. People are not clear on the roles and responsibility. People doing their own way of working. These things are common to you, silo working, no standard. Controls for protecting the child were lacking. Like at home, I take care of my child's health record, financial record, all these things very carefully. But there the child's record is in the files and where all the 100 employees have access to that. Sorry. So children said, we don't love that. This is my record, my financial record. Excuse me. Then they were engaging with many entities to arrange birth certificate, passport, and school certificates. So there was lack of collaboration and understanding and agreement on external stakeholders. And a lot of paper-based operation. Just to give you an idea, let's say a child has been taken care by a foster family. Now they want to take the child to, let's say, Switzerland on vacation. Every time they have to come back to this organization, get a certificate, and then attach it with the visa application, and then it is processed. Just to give you an idea, in Islamic world, adoption is not there. So in the passport of the child, they will never write son of so-and-so or daughter of so-and-so. So still it is an issue because it has a lot to do with the laws and regulations of the nation. So everything had a lot of paper-based operations. Now, at a very high level, The strategy was to align the operations with the mandate and the laws of the land. Secondly, cascade the customer needs, expectations of different segments into the organization and align the services. If you see the picture here, what we did, we first understood the customer needs. Foster families, youth, adult. For being the Islamic world, women are treated a bit differently than men. So their needs and expectations. Based on that, we said what kind of services this organization should provide, and then what are the policies and processes needed to deliver those services. So we were looking for a total alignment into that. And then we build accountability, roles, responsibility, performance. They had very KPIs, measuring, time taken and things like that, which were not really effective. They're a lot on efficiency. So this United Nations report really helped, and other reports helped us improve the performance management. And of course, the leadership there wants full digitization. If child wants to apply for an iPad, he can go into the portal and do it, submit an application. Or he needs a letter to submit to the University of McMaster or Stern Business School in New York, he can do it online. So the whole strategy was to align the customer needs to the service delivery, build accountability of the people, and have relevant, important, few critical measures of performance. Yeah. So this is what we did. I have already covered this in detail, so let me go further. Now this picture you are very clear with. I mean, I'm sure you have been using day in and day out for years. Plan, do, check, act. But you'll be surprised, people didn't know this. I was invited by Child Care Authority in Serbia, in Europe. It used to be like Yugoslavia earlier, in a small city called Novi Sad. They also take care of children. They have different operating model. So they invited me to deliver a talk, and I happened to be in Europe. I visited them in June this year. When they saw this picture, they were totally stunned. This is so simple, so systematic, and yet we have never thought of it. So what we did was, we started, of course, with the customer understanding needs. So we did a focus group. Now, I cannot go to the child of 3 years and 4 years and 5 years to know what are the needs and expectations. So we had candid conversations with the caregivers, social workers, and of course with children who are a little grown up. They are in school, they are youth, adults. And then we also spoke to foster families, families who adopted the children, and then we mapped the customer journey. So now I'll come back to this. Let me share with you the key findings for that. First and foremost, children were very, very appreciative and thankful to the organization and the leaders for taking care of them. They were given very good care, even if they have nice dresses and toys and enrollment into tennis academies and so on. And like a family care at home, like if there are 6 children living in a house, they're like brothers and taking care of them, what kind of food. Today we want to have pizza, so things like that. So children are very thankful to them. They have identity. They're given total health care, free. Education, initially in the government schools, but when they grow up, they can go to different universities. Protection, housing, and counseling sessions of integration. In fact, there was some kind of bullying and discrimination in the school when they came to know other students that they are from alternate care. So a lot of these counseling, coaching was being done. Then when we spoke to the foster parents, they said we cannot express our joy. I mean, we tried due to some reasons. We couldn't have our own children, so we took the children from the agency, and they are just our, our light of our eyes. Or there was one family, they had one child, girl, and they adopted a boy, so that there's a brother and sister to do them. Then some of the information they wanted things to be improved were like the protection for information, data, their financial, when they grow up, they sometimes take loan for a car, and their slippage on payments, their credit rating goes down. They say only we should have access to that data. Radically simplifying the policies, automating services. Then a lot of the children are very IT savvy. They have all these apps, and they say, why don't we have an app here so that I can use the services? And also, of course, unemployment they experience that, and they want strong support from the organization to help them in employment. I mean, their preference was to work for the government agencies. So these are some of the key findings on the improvements. Yeah. Once we're coming back to this picture, so we did the focus group, and then we did the segmentation of the customer. Very different type. Earlier they just had segmentation of boys and the girls, and this was totally based on needs and expectations, age-wise and gender-wise and needs and expectations-wise. Then we mapped the customer journey. I would like to show you this. Now you will not be able to see this picture. This is about 30-40 steps. So I took a small portion of it to walk you through. This is the life stage from infancy to total independence. Now this is the journey stages, and this is what customer is receiving or experiencing or the touch point. Now here is the organization, the entity where we did the project, and which department is contributing to which stage of the customer journey. Like Child Affairs Department is contributing to receiving the communication about the child being found from the authorized organization, say police. Let's say Family Care Department is responsible for assigning father or mother for the child care. One second. And then below, if you see here, there's an external entity they have to work with to deliver the service for the child. For example, here, review the case, they are engaged with the police department, medical agencies while doing that. Here, when they are arranging the name for the child or identity document, health insurance, they work with the citizenship agency who issues passports. They work with the healthcare provider and insurance organization. So this picture, earlier it was not clear. So what happened was, everybody knew now who is contributing to what stages of the customer journey, what the customer or the child is receiving, and what kind of collaboration agreement and performance measures we need with the external stakeholder. This itself actually was a huge discovery for them. Now, this year the plan was to do the risk assessment based on that. Also establish performance measures, KPIs, in line with the customer and in line with the business need, and establish the performance measures. Yeah. So then, based on that, we designed the service portfolio. We at one place, nobody knew what service we are providing. That means title of the service, description of the service, who is the owner of the service, what are the steps of the service, does it cost any money, and what is the service performance measure. So about 42 service cards were developed depending on the customer needs and expectation and as per the mandate and as per the best practices. They are in the business of services, though it's very important to have a service mindset. And we used the ServQual model to have service performance measures. And then to deliver this service, we reviewed their policy, processes, procedures, and about 68 policy procedures were reviewed, developed, enhanced. Some were totally missing, like as I said, risk management was missing, or raising an alarm at home, there's some abuse happening. You see, there's a standard I will show you on keeping children safe. So those best practices were brought into this. And then we use the customer complaints management system ISO 10002 for customer feedback. We improved the customer satisfaction measurement, and of course did the benchmarking. Now let me take you through here. Sorry, this should be from, not for. So when we did this project to distill this, it became clearer to them that they need to manage processes to bring in consistency in delivery of services. It is not the departments who will deliver service. Department silo working is not going to solve the problem because processes are flowing across end to end from one department to another. In child journey stages demonstrated it very clearly. Then we also drew a map, high level, how the processes are interacting with each other, so that there's a helicopter view of the entire management system. And that was used to develop the operating model. And then the processes which were going beyond their organization, to insurance companies, to education council, to identity, citizenship authority, and so on, those processes were also identified, and their management of it had started. Then the digitization, I have worked 5 years in the digital authority. I had opportunity to see how the processes and IT infrastructure has to be integrated to deliver a service to a customer. You see, if you look at, we had the project one government, one number. So citizen has to go to only one place, but behind the government is interconnected. In fact, it was strongly promoted by United Nations. Interconnected government is critical to deliver a good service to the customer. So this kind of thinking was brought into this. Of course, role, responsibility, accountability, and importance of process management. Now, these are the two standards which were referred, and some of it were used in phase 1 to improve the processes and performance and accountability. For example, on safety, a lot of things were taken from here. Now, later on I can take the questions. I just want to share with you this project made a direct contribution to United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. I'll show you this. These are the SDG framework. I'll come to this in a minute. So they were given well-controlled diet, nutritive diets to make a good health. They had all kind of protocols, how many times they can go and eat junk food and things like that. Once a month only they can go to, have junk food outside. But most of the time their diet, calories, nutrition, healthy food, everything was monitored, planned as part of the child development plan. Education. and reduce inequalities. Same level of treatment for girl child and a boy child. Yeah. So this project, what we did, had a direct contribution to 3 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Just for your information, maybe all of you are familiar with it. For those who are not, I'll just take a minute to walk you through. In September 2015, 193 UN member nations signed a declaration to commit to these 17 goals. They say no one left behind. By 2030, whether it is people, whether it is fishes, whether it is flora, whether it is fauna, whether it is animals, whether it is earth, whether it is planet, no one left behind. So in short, no poverty, zero hunger, good health, well-being, clean water and sanitation. Now, if you look at some of the statistics on their website from the UN, you will be shocked. For example, half the population of the world does not have access to clean water and sanitation. Cities, I don't know, 3 to 4 billion people are living in slum-like conditions in cities where air is not clean, and then reduce inequalities. And this is a very interesting, responsible consumption and production. The circular economy, if we are responsible in consuming, around 1/3 of the food is wasted from farm to the fork. There's the FWL, food waste and loss. One is wasted, it is good to eat, but it is wasted. Food losses in the total supply chain, right from the farm till it reaches the retail in Costco or Walmart, or it gets lost in transit and due to various reasons. About 700 million people go hungry every night, and COVID has set back the entire progress which was being made for the last 30 years. About 60 million people have been added to the poverty in the last 1.5 to 2 years. And this is about climate change, life below the water, our oceans, life on the land, green space. By the way, Canada has one of the highest number of trees per square acre or per square meter. I think it is about 400 or 500 compared to 6 or 26 in India and Pakistan. So you can imagine the life on the land. Peace, justice, and strong institutions. Police and judiciary is one of the most corrupt institutes, in addition to others like municipalities and town planning and other. So, strengthening governance, building capacity, and we quality professionals can help a lot improve governance into institutions, government institutions, and institutions offering services to the vulnerable segments. Just for your information, right now as we speak, I'm doing a project focused on SDG goal 16 with United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. And also I did a project for UNIDO in 2018 for government of Nigeria. I did a training and capacity building and framework development for about 18 government departments in Nigeria. It remains one of the most corrupt countries in the world. Now, this is the most important part, partnerships. Government alone cannot do it. We individuals, organizations, research labs, scientists, statisticians, reliability engineers, technicians, all of us can commit to any of the goals and make a commitment on the portal, and it's voluntary. You can monitor the progress, what you are contributing, and so on. So purpose was I spent a couple of minutes to just share this with you. as ASQ member of the board 2016-17, I had presented to the board when I think Pat Lalonde or Eric Haler was the chair. And wherever I go in the world, I promote SDGs very passionately. So coming to the conclusion, quality tools and techniques can be deployed in social settings. Huge opportunity for us. I remember the autobiography of Dr. Juran, architect of quality. In the end, he says, thank your lucky stars. Your field is going to grow exponentially, especially in the government, education, healthcare, and social sector. With this, I thank you again very much for listening to me and to Doug and QMT and the whole team and Shilpa for the opportunity. The whole case study is available on this website if you want to choose to read or want to connect with me. Thank you once again.
Oh, thank you, Sunil. That was absolutely one of the more uplifting talks that we've seen. So we can do some questions now, and I'm looking for people to post some questions out here. Thank you for putting something out there. I do have one here. Okay, so here's a question. Was there some question amongst the committees you worked with as to how quality principles might help achieve their mission? Did some people or organizations think that quality principles were a luxury to be added after the basics were handled well?
Yeah, that's very interesting. Doug, can you hear me? I mean, I'm speaking.
Oh, yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much for the question. It is absolutely right, spot on. Reflecting back on this project, the first thing was the awareness. A lot of people, sadly, did not know these tools and techniques existed. You see, this organization sadly didn't have good leadership for many years. So it was just being operated without governance, without serious, transformation effort. So when we came across, we had a lot of challenges of breaking these silos. Everybody wanted to say, just tell me, Sunil, what I have to improve. Why are you dragging me into the next department? This is my section. This is my unit. You go and tell him what he has to do. So it took us a good amount of time, and some people appreciated it. Some people loved it, liked it. But honestly, it was very difficult to change. I mean, one of the directors, we had very difficult time, but he had no choice because from the top, highest level, I don't want to give his name, you'll know the identity, the prince, the crown prince. I mean, you see, in that part of the world, you don't question or you don't challenge or you don't say no to the ruler. If he draws the line here, that's where the metro will come. That's where the sewage pipeline will come, and that's it. So digitization is huge on the agenda. Just to give an idea, he gave 2 years to all government departments to digitize services, and they should be available on tablet and of course on the internet and kiosk. 3 months before, the ruler sent out a tweet, those who will not be able to do it should look for the retirement. On the Twitter, in the media. In fact, 2 months back, every year they do a mystery shopping on the services for the government. Top 5 departments and bottom 5 departments are posted by the ruler, Sheikh. And for the bottom line, he writes very clearly, you are not with us. And we don't want you if you don't want to improve. And if your improvement plans are not implemented in the next 3 months, ready for a change. So digitization kind of forced them to adopt the process flows and service mindsets. But it's a work in progress, to be honest with you. And some said, I wish we had known these things before. I hope I've tried to answer your question.
Oh, I think you did answer that question pretty well. You're saying that it was the mandate to digitize that forced the creation of process flows, and that was the vehicle, the means that you used to introduce quality tools. Is that right?
200%. Absolutely. Let me share with you. You see, there's a lot of cultural different aspects. You see, in many parts of the world, people respect the flow, process, and they do it. But in some countries, informality creeps in, my way comes in. So there the governments have realized we have to force the discipline and systematic way through ERP systems and digitization. And they have been doing it since 2003 or 2005, right? And it has made tremendous, like improvement 2.0, the Dubai's drive for quality, UAE's journey for quality started in 1993, 94 or 94. And the major leap was done in 2005 or 2005, and then 2009 onwards. And then in the last 2-3 years, they have done amazing work on digitization.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, that certainly paints a great picture. Okay, we have another question here. You'd mentioned KPIs or metrics. What seem to be some of the best effectiveness metrics or KPIs for your organization?
For this project, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for this project. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for asking. You see, there were 15 KPIs which were kind of mandated by United Nations in their best practice report in alternate care. You see, risk to the children and abuse to the children, and on their development, their nutrition, their education, and all that. So we took 12 out of the 15, stunting and things like that. Now, if you give me a minute, I'll have to go back to the report and read and share exactly. But this document which I showed here has these KPIs and this standard. So sorry, I don't remember. If you want, send me an email. I'll be happy to share that KPIs with you. But they were all about development, social inclusion, health, education, around these actually. Safety, health, safety, education, development, and inclusion. Yeah. Specific, I can send it to you if you send me an email.
Sure. So if you're interested in that, send him an email. You'll get his email address in the notice you get in 2 days after this course. Okay. So here's another question. Can you discuss some of the most effective quality tools that you used in the organization as you developed this?
Yeah. Thank you so much. I mean, thanks for asking. You see, let me first say this. We did not use any of the statistical tools and techniques like FMEAs and DOE and things like that. No SPC and all that. Because their level of maturity was very, very basic. So the tools very extensively we used was PDCA first, Plan, Do, Check, Act, as you saw that, right? And then was the customer journey. Then was the stakeholder framework, engagement with the external entities. In fact, we referred a little bit about ISO 44000. There's a standard on collaboration management that was used. Then from the ISO standards, a lot of relevant requirements were incorporated into the policies and procedures. Risk management also we used extensively into that. So plan, do, check, act, customer journeys, stakeholder engagement, and then of course EFQM. From EFQM model, perception measures were taken from criteria on customer results and people results. That's criteria 6A and 7A. Yeah. So these were broadly used. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. That was great. It seems like the plan, do, check, act wheel seems to be the most flexible of the improvement methodologies. You can adapt it to different situations.
Yeah.
Let's see. We do have another question here. This might be difficult. Have you received any specific feedback from grown children that have passed through the process on how it has changed?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for asking. We had very extensive focus group meetings with the children, and also who passed out, who became independent and kind of, like left the house, left the home actually, right? Couple of them, one or two, I'll share with you, which was very critical. You see, they had a policy earlier, this organization, that up to once the child grows and becomes, gets qualified, gets a job, and is economically reasonably well independent, they kind of disengaged with the child after that. And then now you are out of your own in the world. Take care of yourself, you earn, you build your own house, and there was no engagement happening after that. So the children who had grown up and left, they said, when we were with the organization, these child caregivers, social workers, they're like our parents, our uncle and aunt and brothers and sisters. How can they disown us once we become adult? And this was a major initiative launched after that. They scrapped this practice of kind of disengaging, and they're working on building a community of these children and take care of them. In fact, they were taking care of the girls, not of the boys. Suppose the girl child grows, gets married, and the marriage doesn't work out. She can come back to the organization and they will take care of her, but not for the boys. So they reviewed this policy, they reviewed the disengagement strategy, approach, and build the communities around that. And another major thing also we learned from the foster care, even when their adopted children grow up, that they also felt disengaged from the organization. So they started building those communities actually from them. And otherwise they were very happy. They said, without this organization we wouldn't have been who we are, what we are. At a very operating level, if you go to the very low level, you see, there is one test, if I remember, IELTS, in the English language test or something. You need to score certain grade or GP or something to qualify into a good university. I think in US, UK, or I don't know where. I don't recall, in UK, I think. Now, this organization will finance that fees and education for IELTS once. If the boy or the girl, the child doesn't get through well, they will not finance him again. So he says, my future is lost just because I was short of 5 points in the GPA. So these kind of lot of tactical operating level, suggestions were given to the Director General for improvement. Yeah. So I think I have answered. I hope it's okay. I mean, it addresses your query.
I think you did answer that question well. So we have another question here. Okay. It says that you mentioned ISO 44000 standard is used in your organization. Are there any other ISO standards that you used?
Okay, let me clarify. Thank you for asking this. You see, we use very, very little. When I read the ISO 44000 standard, some of the things which really stood out very clearly to do the joint risk assessment between the supplier and the customer, or the two organizations or three organizations entering into an MOU. So these kind of thinkings and ideas were given to them. But this is an excellent standard on collaboration. It was not taken full. Now, other standard we used was 10002, Customer Complaints Management Standard. Then also, let me share with you, the government also had a customer service manual framework. So that was used for that, yeah. So these kind of frameworks we used. And of course, 45001, we didn't use fully the health and safety. We recommended, and they had a plan to go for this standard fully into 2021-2022. Because there are a lot of other things to fix, infrastructure and things like that. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Sunil. That was truly an inspiring talk.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Now there may be some more questions. Use the email address you'll get in 2 days, and you may ask more questions of Sunil via that.
Thank you.
So we will stop the recording now and finish up with a few more items.
Yeah. Thank you.